What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Knicks Media, live here on Bleacher Report, and we got some things to talk about because the New York Knicks are coming off one of the most depressing playoff games I've ever witnessed. I think that may have been the worst game of my entire life as a Knicks fan in terms of the heartbreak and the suffering that we endured because Tyrese Halliburton and Nesmith just decided to become something I've never seen. Reggie Miller reincarnated, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was absolutely devastating. But the good thing is this is not the NFL. And the reason why I bring that up is in football, it's one game in the playoffs and you're done. In basketball, we're talking about a 7-game series here. All right, the Knicks lost game 1, but I still got confidence in them bouncing back. All right, there's no denying that what we saw last night was nothing short of just ridiculous. All right, I mean, you got to tip your cap to what the Indiana Pacers were able to do. It was fantastic. From their standpoint, the shot making was off the charts. And I also wanted to say this. I know that obviously the Knicks choked the game, but it's not like the Knicks didn't score. Now, Cat missed a big free throw. OG missed a big free throw. But this was just unbelievable shot making by the Indiana Pacers, more specifically Nesmith down the stretch. And then, of course, Tyrese Halliburton for the game-winning shot. Then it was the Knicks fumbling. Now, there was some calculated errors by the New York Knicks. That error that they had by Brunson bounce pass to OG Anunoby when I think he should have just held on to the ball, which resulted in a turnover. I think that was a mistake. And I think that there's a lot of things the Knicks could have done better. Dribbling the clock out, not just taking a bad shot early in the shot clock. When you have a lead like that, you got to be able to withstand it. And you look at this Knicks team with Jalen Brunson. I mean, we're talking about a team that went against the Boston Celtics and did the same thing to the Boston Celtics, right? We're talking about a squad that went into Boston and stole games 1 and 2, coming back from 20 points down. So you would think that the Knicks would have some type of energy behind them to know how to not blow a lead and have a sense of urgency. They took their foot off the gas and they let the Indiana Pacers come back. And the defense late in the game was inexcusable. You cannot let Nesmith walk into threes like that. You cannot let this guy, especially when he hits like a second, is like, okay, let's call timeout. Let's game plan. Nesmith, obviously the hot hand. It's everybody in the world knows the ball's going to Nesmith. Let's put a body on him. Let's get physical. And they just get one little screen, and then Nesmith is open, and he gets an open shot. He's in rhythm. He catches it off the dribble, fires a fadeaway, and cashes it. Like, it's just shocking to me. And I know that, Knicks fans are already tired of us talking about game 1, but you gotta be able to talk about this because that was an absolute devastating loss. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. I think that we wasted a fantastic game from both Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. They were both, and listen, Jalen Brunson, he will tell you himself, he did not have his best game. Now, you look at the box score, the guy had 40-plus points, but he had 7 turnovers, was 1 for 5 from the three-point land, and didn't close it out in the clutch. And I think Jalen Brunson, I hold him to a very high standard. I hold him to a standard of one of the elite players in this league that is capable of leading this Knicks team to the promised land. So the turnovers and being aware of the clock and getting your teammates involved late in the game, and it's just frustrating, man. It absolutely is frustrating. And there's no denying that this Knicks team is coming off a devastating loss, and they got to respond, man. They got to respond. And the one thing I know about this Knicks basketball team is that their ability to respond is there, okay? And I think OG Anunoby, his name is being brought up a lot, where he was a big reason why this Knicks team lost last night late in the game. You look at what OG Anunoby didn't do. He did not hit both free throws. If he hit that first free throw, we would have went up and would have won the game. He missed a wide open layup in the second quarter. A lot of people are critical of OG Anunoby, and this is going to go 7 games, man. I mean, if you look at a series like this is going to go 7 games if I had to guess. And I think that the one thing I love about this Knicks team that I've been very consistent on all throughout the regular season, every single show you come on here and watch me talk Knicks basketball throughout the entire regular season, I always pumped up some optimism and hope into this basketball team when the whole world counted them out. Always did throughout the regular season and throughout this playoffs. Remember when the Pistons beat the Knicks at MSG in Game 2? A lot of people were worried that the Knicks were going to lose that series. I never thought that. When the Celtics came in and blew out the Knicks in game 3, everybody felt the momentum go to Boston. Everyone was scared. I wasn't. I mean, this Knicks team has shown their resiliency, man, and I have full confidence in them to bounce back in game 2 and still win this series. I had a prediction of the Knicks winning the series in 6. And in order to win a series in 6 games, you got to lose 2 games. All right? Now, I'm not saying that the Knicks should be excused for that loss last night because they shouldn't be, man. That was historic. You talk about defending home court at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. We went into the Eastern Conference Finals saying we have home court advantage. That is a big factor in these playoffs. And if the Knicks just defend home court, then we win the series. But we lose the first game at home. Now home court has flipped in favor of the Indiana Pacers. Therefore, the Knicks must win a game on the road. But obviously the focus is first and foremost of winning game 2 at MSG tomorrow night at the Garden. So the backs are against the wall now. This is one of those games last night that can go one or two ways. It demoralizes this team and it spirals them out of control in a negative way, or it can bring this group together and really shift their focus, level up their intensity, and blow them out. I don't care about no blowout. Just win the game tomorrow night. Show a sense of urgency. Because the game started off last night just crazy shot making by the Pacers. I mean, you talk about Miles Turner, for example. The guy started off the game 8 for 8, something like that. Miles Turner was fantastic for the Indiana Pacers. The entire Pacers team was off the charts in the first quarter. They started off the game 9 for 9. Something crazy like that. Like, this Pacers team is a good team, man. And for Tyrese Halliburton to put up the choke sign at MSG with Reggie Miller on the call, I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that if you're a Knicks fan. It really doesn't. Now, I was hoping that the Knicks would go into overtime and win in OT, and Tyrese Halliburton would regret doing this too early because he thought he won the game, obviously, with that three-pointer. But the Knicks failed in overtime. And I'm not going to sit here and whine about the referees, but there were some missed calls that did not go our way. Right? You look at the goaltending that was missed. Miles Turner had goaltending. I think it was on a Jalen Brunson layup. And if they called the goaltend, the Knicks would have went up, I believe, by 5 points. Instead, they hit a 3 on the other end, and the Knicks lead is just 1. So you're talking about a giant swing, or maybe, 6 points. That's a huge swing. And the refs got to get these calls right in the clutch, man. I don't want to be worried about the referees in this series. It's unfortunate that we had to go into this game with that type of energy. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns, obviously he missed a critical free throw, but he definitely asserted himself in this series last night. He needs to keep that up, man, and even level it up even more. I love the aggressiveness from Karl-Anthony Towns to get to the rim, shooting the ball from beyond the arc. And I want to see Cat keep doing that. 30-plus points, double-digit rebounds. That's what you like to see. He needs to continue that because if Cat can embody that energy, this is going to be a hard series for the Indiana Pacers to win, still even up 1-0. And I genuinely believe that, man. I really do. And you look at everything that comes with this team, you got to keep crushing what this Knicks team does best. And the Knicks have to get back on defense, bro, because the defense was bad. Right? The Knicks got on a good defensive stretch here and there. They went on some spurts, but there was a stretch where the defense was just really bad, man. And this Knicks team is at its best when the defense is playing at its peak. Mikal Bridges, where was he defensively? Offensively, he was pretty solid, but we were letting McConnell just get any time. There was a stretch where this guy gets like 5 straight buckets going to the rim, right? In the overtime period, it was just trading bucket after bucket. Like, we could not get a stop. And we saw this defense come up in the clutch against Boston, which is why I got confidence that we are going to be fine, because we've seen glimpses of this Knicks basketball team become clutch in the defensive side of the ball. And the Pacers, they like to run fast. They like to play at their pace, which is like one of the fastest paces you'll ever see, ever. I mean, the way that team plays basketball, it's out of control, honestly, the way how fast they go. And it's up to this Knicks team to slow down the Pacers to let them play at the Knicks pace. We don't want to speed up our pace and play at their pace. That's what it comes down to. And the Knicks did that. They slowed them down. The Pacers got cold. The Knicks got hot. That's why the Knicks went on a large lead. But one more thing about Jalen Brunson, too. Like, you look at the box score, you're like, yo, Jalen Brunson was fantastic for the Knicks. But not really. Another thing about Jalen Brunson that I was very upset with last night, the fouls. You can't get into foul trouble like that, bro. You cannot get into foul trouble like that. We need you on the court without worrying about fouling. Because when you get into a foul trouble, like Jalen Brunson did last night, then he can't defend. I mean, he already is a liability defending, but it's even worse when you're in foul trouble. When he had 4 fouls and he checked back into the game, I'm like, please be smart. And then he just has a terrible foul underneath the rim. He's got to stay out of foul trouble, man. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. He fouled out in Game 5 against Boston. So he's got to be better. And I'm holding him to a standard. I'm holding him to a standard because I consider Jalen Brunson a superstar. And I think he's deserved that. But he's got to play better. 7 turnovers is not acceptable. 1 for 5 from 3, not acceptable. Clutch player of the year, had a chance to tie up the game, airballed. So these are little things, man, that we're going to hold Jalen Brunson accountable for. And also move the ball. When you have a big lead, let's see the ball move around and don't just dribble for 5 seconds and then put up a shot. Let's see the ball move. Let's see off-ball movement. Because there was ball movement all game. And when we get into the fourth quarter, clutch time, we don't need to just become a team that just likes to hold on to the ball too long. So there's just a lot that needs to get cleaned up. And I do have confidence in this Knicks team to clean it up 110%. Because what MSG has is a weapon, and that's the Madison Square Garden crowd, the Knicks faithful that shows up and shows out, the defensive chants. The crowd goes berserk, and you got to take advantage of that. We cannot let that home court advantage slip away, and we already did. So if the Knicks can get the job done tomorrow night, tie the series out 1 apiece, and then basically it's a best-of-5 series from then on out. So I feel like this Knicks team has proven again all year that they are resilient. But, man, these Indiana Pacers, you cannot count them out. You cannot count them out. Tyrese Halliburton is on a mission right now. You saw what the Pacers did to the Cavaliers in the second round. I mean, that was demoralizing if you're a Cavs fan. That game that they stole, what was that, game 2? It was very similar, but a different little thing. They were, down by 8 points with 40 seconds left, and the Pacers somehow figured out a way to do it. They missed the free throw, got the rebound. Tyrese Halliburton hit the shot at the buzzer. Like, there was some weird stuff going on with these Indiana Pacers. But there's some weird stuff going on with the Knicks, too. We had our own improbable victories. That's why this matchup is so fantastic. And if you thought heading into this series that this was going to be an easy series, that's on you. I did not expect this series to be easy. I expected this team to be annoying. They're going to hit a lot of shots. They play fast. They got a really deep rotation of 10 guys that can run. Their element of speed is something different that we're not really used to. They're a completely different matchup than what we have grown accustomed to with the Detroit Pistons in round 1, the Boston Celtics in round 2. We beat Boston, and every single Knicks fan has every single right to celebrate that series the way that they did. And anybody that's clowning the Knicks still for the way that this fan base celebrated, they don't understand. Nobody had the Knicks beating the Celtics. We beat the Celtics in 6. We had every single right to celebrate the way that we celebrated. But now we turn the page, and now we're knocking on the door of the NBA Finals. It's not delusional to say that the New York Knicks have a chance to win an NBA championship. Like, that is legit right here. And the Knicks cannot let this opportunity slip away, bro. Because you could already consider the season as a success just from the perspective that they improved and got somewhere they haven't been before. But we do not want to lose to the Pacers because I'm telling you right now, the way that this Knicks team just lost game 1 and the way that Tyrese Halliburton put up the choke sign, if this Knicks team loses this series, no Knicks fans happy all summer. No one's going to be like, yeah, well, at least we made it to this Eastern Conference Finals. No, that's not going to be the energy. Promise you that. So they got to recoup, man. And I'm looking at our stars. I'm looking at Jalen Brunson to have a bounce-back game. And it's not like he was bad in game 1. He was good, but just wasn't to the level that we were hoping down the stretch. OG Anunoby, man, we need your offense. Now, another thing about Jalen Brunson, which was interesting. Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble. He goes to the bench, and the Knicks go on a crazy 14-0 run or something like that. Without Jalen Brunson on the court. With Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson on the floor, the Knicks were phenomenal. With Bridges, Anunoby, even Cameron Payne had some big minutes when they were going on runs. But for whatever reason, the Knicks starting five, and this is becoming a talking point around Knicks fans, the starting five is a net negative when they're on the court together. That's not a good thing. So there's some positives to take away, like the impact of Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson off the bench. Maybe give them a little bit more minutes, switch up the rotations a little bit. But we need to get more opportunities. And I got to give a big shout out to one player, man, because he keeps on making his presence be felt. And this guy right here is a big reason why I got confidence in this Knicks team. Because the opportunity of Mitchell Robinson has been off the charts. Big shout out to Big Mitch. Mitchell Robinson has been fantastic all throughout the playoffs. And you look at what he did last night. He checks in the game, gets 2 offensive rebounds like that. Catches an alley-oop. The guy was a absolute monster. The Knicks have to keep getting Mitchell Robinson involved in these games. Deuce McBride, also fantastic game. Had a crazy block at the rim. Like, there's a lot of energy plays that you look back on that game and you're like, man, if we won, we'd be talking a lot right now about the good. And all that good that happened gets flushed down the drain with a loss because there's no moral victories in the playoffs. There is no moral victories in the playoffs, man. And you got to call out this team because another player that disappointed me in the clutch, defensively, Josh Hart. I mean, that play that Josh Hart had where he couldn't defend Nesmith on the perimeter, like that was, come on, man. You're better than that, Josh. He literally let him go to the three-point line, break his ankles, and put up a shot with ease. Josh Hart's got to level up his intensity. And I'm holding this whole team accountable, man, because we believe we can achieve greatness this year. We're right there. We're 4 wins from the NBA Finals. And we're 3 losses away from being sent home. So I feel like a lot of people are pounding the table to have a lineup change. I'm not there yet. I really don't think that the Knicks are going to change the rotations, like in terms of the starting lineup. I understand that Knicks fans want to see that, but I don't think at this stage starting a different 5 is going to be anything, because it's not about who starts the game. It's about who finishes and the lineups in the middle of the game. So a starting change, I don't think will do much. Again, I know some people want to see Mitch start or Deuce start or something, but nah. The Knicks got this far with this starting 5. They had a fantastic regular season with this starting 5. They will figure themselves out. If the starting 5 is still struggling, then you get the bench in a little bit earlier. Because the first quarter, the Pacers came out and did not miss, but the Knicks still won that first quarter because they bounced back. They showed their resilience. They showed their heart. Right? And I feel like the culture of this team right now is all about resiliency. It's all about toughness. That's what this Knicks team is about. It's about coming together as a unit, picking each other up when you're down. Because again, you look at the overall landscape of the Knicks compared to the Pacers, they really are different. They are completely different. The way the Pacers execute and win games is completely different than the way the Knicks like to execute and win their games. Their styles are just completely polar opposite, which is why this series is going to be fun. It's going 7 games. I liked it to go 6, Knicks in 6 or Knicks in 5, but I'm not delusional. I gotta be realistic here. The Pacers like to play fast, run up and down the floor, and gas you down. And maybe that is part of the issue with how he lost. You can argue the Pacers play so fast that the Knicks were fatigued late in the fourth quarter, where they just did not have enough gas left in the tank to keep up with that comeback. They fell asleep. They completely fell asleep. And I know some people are criticizing Tom Thibodeau for not putting, or should I say, for putting Jalen Brunson back in the game with 5 minutes to go. I'm not gonna fault Tom Thibodeau for that, man. I get it. That lineup was humming, but I'm not gonna blame Tom Thibodeau for putting Jalen Brunson in, who just won Clutch Player of the Year with 5 minutes left. Like, I understand what you're saying, though. Like, the Knicks were playing great. They were on a run. Why change anything? But we're talking about Jalen Brunson here. This isn't like a sub of Josh Hart coming in or another role player. Like, you're talking about the star of the team who just won Clutch Player of the Year. So I'm not going to fault Tom Thibodeau here. But this is a big test for Tibbs. How can he adjust? Now you have a whole game of film to watch. You get to see how the Pacers are attacking you defensively. You get to see how the Pacers are attacking you offensively. It's up to Tom Thibodeau right now to make these adjustments. This is what the playoffs are all about in the NBA. It's a series of adjustments. It's a series of showing heart and resilience, because if they lose game 2 and go down 0-2 heading into Indiana, things are going to look ugly, man. The Pacers are doing exactly what the Knicks did to the Celtics, if that's the case. You got to be able to keep this energy, man. And I'm looking at Tom Thibodeau to get these guys right. Get these guys right. Now, Deuce McBride has been a huge positive this season, especially last night. You talk about the ability to hit the shots when his name is called, but also his defense, fantastic. That block he had on Siakam at the rim, that was just off the charts level good. Off the charts. Deuce McBride is a guard blocking Siakam at the rim, bro. And I want to see Deuce get a little bit more aggressive offensively, because this guy, he is a real spark plug. He's a defensive weapon. And if the Knicks were smart, they'd keep Deuce McBride on the court a little bit longer, because he was fantastic. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, I got to look up the box score real quick, because I think he was like a plus 20 something, which is absurd. I mean, if you're a plus anything, that's when you know you got something going, right? So I got it pulled up now. Yeah, Deuce McBride was a team high plus 12. Okay, when Deuce McBride was on the court, the Knicks outscored the Pacers by 12 points. And everybody in the starting 5 was a negative besides Karl-Anthony Towns, who's a plus 9. Mikal Bridges played 46 minutes. He was a minus 15. And I'm telling you right now, OG Anunoby going 6 for 15. He's got to wake up offensively. 2 for 8 from 3. The 3-point shot just wasn't there. I mean, Cat had a big game shooting the ball. 4 for 8 from beyond the arc. 50%, that's good. But if this Knicks team can just hone in on their P's and Q's, hit their free throws, and play their defense down the stretch, we'll be good. Deuce played 25 minutes. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did Deuce even get in the game in overtime? Like, did he even get on the floor in overtime at all for, like, real minutes? Not just, like, you know, just one possession, play defense, then he sub Brunson back in. Like, I would have liked to see Deuce on the court in overtime. So it's just, there's a lot to break down. But now you go into game 2, and I think that you got to really hone in on what makes this team so good. And that is the depth of the starting 5. And what I mean by that, the difference between the depth of the Pacers and the depth of the Knicks is the Knicks have real star power that you have to worry about. That's what makes this Knicks team dangerous. All right? The star power on the starting 5 is different with the Knicks. You got to worry about Karl-Anthony Towns. You got to worry about Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges. Like, there's a lot of stars. Where the Pacers, they got Halliburton, who's their star, and then a bunch of players around him who can hit shots. You look at the box score. I mean, Nesmith just became, I don't even know what happened, but the guy was 8 for 9 from 3. It was a career high. It's never happened again. Okay, I can say that with confidence. I mean, that was, I'm not going to say it's a fluke, but that was just one of those basketball things that was just otherworldly. Tyrese Halliburton had 31 points, Miles Turner had 14, Nembhard had 15, Siakam had 17, and Nesmith had 30. Like, they don't really have the amount of talent the Knicks have offensively. The Knicks got to take advantage of that. The Knicks have 4 guys that are capable to put up 20 to 25 points every single night. And you can throw Josh Hart's name in there because he can get you 20, 25 points if he wants to sometimes. So they got to use that to their advantage, man. Enough of this messing around. We're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals here. Assert your dominance. Become the player that you want to be. Be physical. Play with heart. Play with vengeance. The city is behind you. And I love the energy the Knicks played with, honestly, throughout the entire game until the end of the fourth quarter. That end of the third into the fourth, that was fantastic basketball. Playing fast, moving without the ball, hitting your shots from beyond the arc, attacking the rim, being physical. They played great basketball. Like, that's the weird thing about this game. We can't sit here and talk about the good that happened because we lost. All that good stuff flushes down the drain. You can't even bring it up. So I'm looking at Big Cat. I'm looking at Jalen Brunson, the 2 stars of this team offensively. They got to step up. I'm looking at our 2 wing defenders of OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. Where's the defense? All right, because I did not feel any defensive presence by either of them. I really did not. OG Anunoby is one of the best defenders in the league, man, and you didn't feel it. He was also snubbed, by the way. It wasn't on NBA All-First team at all. But OG's got to make his presence be felt because he's a difference maker. And the Knicks got to figure out some type of way to slow down Tyrese Halliburton offensively, man. Let's not let this guy get comfortable. Because the Pacers, when you allow the Pacers to play their brand of basketball, they are really hard to beat, bro. They are really hard to beat. When you allow the Pacers to get their confidence and they play fast and they run the way that they run and get open shots the way that they can get open shots, move the ball the way that they move the ball, then you're feeding right into what works for them. And that's a recipe for failure. So I'm excited to see how this Knicks team responds, man. I really am. I think that they're capable of bouncing back. I really do. I genuinely believe that. They have showed the element of toughness all throughout the playoffs, all throughout the season. And I expect that to happen in game number 2 at MSG. Let's see this Knicks team get off to a fast start in this one. And I felt like we were going to have a stress-free win last night. Now, I'd never celebrated the win until we actually won the game. But the Knicks were up by 16, 14 points. And I remember saying on my live stream during the game, no lead is safe in this league, so I'm not celebrating until the game is over. But it'd be good to feel a little satisfied with a stress-free win. Not the case. The New York Knicks lose in overtime. And that's the sad part. We had a chance to just secure the win in overtime, and then that collapse, it would have been felt like, oh, we almost collapsed. But no, we did. We did collapse. And now we got to force the Pacers to be the ones that collapse. Now we got to be the ones that shows the resilience. Because now the Pacers, they got confidence in themselves. They're the ones that's talking. They're the ones that feel like they got something on the Knicks. And it's up to this Knicks team to go out there and spoil their little fun party. Because the one thing I love about this Knicks team is they're not a bunch of talkers. They're classy. Pacers, not so much. You heard Tyrese Halliburton talking his talk, putting up the choke sign, walking into the locker room saying, oh, it's quiet in here, talking that smack. When the Knicks beat the Celtics in game 1 and 2, you did not see that from the Knicks. You didn't see them overly celebrate and doing all that nonsense, okay? So they got to use that as fuel. If I'm the Knicks, bro, I put Tyrese Halliburton's face of him putting up the choke sign in the locker room as sense of motivation. Because remember how the Reggie Miller series ended? When he did the choke sign and had that remarkable comeback win, the Knicks won that series. So let's let history repeat itself in our favor all over again. I got confidence in these Knicks. I genuinely do, man. And I even said, I think the Knicks may lose either game 1 or game 2 because I respect the Pacers that much. And unfortunately, it had to be game 1 and it had to be in a heartbreaking fashion. No one likes that. So no lead is safe in this league. The Knicks proved it against the Celtics, and the Pacers proved it against the Knicks. So let's hope that the Knicks can regroup and get back on track with a W on Friday night for the New York Knicks to tie up the series 1-1. It's just brutal, man. I mean, you talk about an opportunity to be up. An opportunity to be up right now, 1-0. Not the case. Appreciate everybody tuning into the chat right now, guys. Hit that like button if you didn't already. Subscribe. Want to remind everybody, I will not be live for the Knicks watch party tomorrow night. I have some plans. It's a buddy's birthday, so we're going to go out and watch the game. So I won't be home in my studio doing a live reaction, but I will be back for the live reaction on Monday for games 3 and every game the rest of the series, most likely, unless something comes up. So if you're looking for my show tomorrow night, just know that I will not be live. But, man, let's regroup as a fan base and keep that energy high, man. So with that, I'll leave you guys with it. Love you guys so much as always. My name is Richie Melora. Hit that like button on your way out. Let's go Knicks. Go New York. Go New York. Go, baby. Peace out, folks.